My name is Eadaoin, and this is Barbara. We are trying to set up a Sea Shepherd group in Slovakia, and this afternoon I'm going to tell you about my experience working last summer as a volunteer on Sea Shepherd's Operation GrindStop in the Faroe Islands.
Čaute, takže toto je Eadaoin a ja som Barbara. Snažíme sa založiť momentálne Sea Shepherd skupinu na Slovensku a Eadaoin vám povie jej skúsenosti z dobrovoľníctva minulý rok v lete na operácii GrindStop 2014.
So the GrindStop operation took place in the Faroe Islands. The Faroes are between Norway and Iceland. They have 34,000 people. There are about 50,000 sheep, and it's a very, very conservative society.
Takže operácia sa konala na Faerských ostrovoch, ktoré sú 62 stupňov severne medzi Norskom a Islandom. Dokopy tam žije okolo 34,000 ľudí, 50,000 oviec a sú veľmi konzervatívni obyvatelia.
They were trying to hunt pilot whales. Pilot whales are a type of dolphin rather than a type of whale, and they're the second largest dolphin after the orca.
Takže tieto veľryby, ktoré tam žijú, sú druh delfína. Je to druhý najväčší delfín po orkách, alebo áno, po orkách. A sú hlavným takým cieľom toho lovenia tých Faerských ostrovov.
These are the figures for the numbers of dolphins and pilot whales killed every year. As you can see, the numbers were quite high from 2010 to 2013. And then last year, because there was a large Sea Shepherd operation, the numbers came right down. Just 33 whales and 5 dolphins were killed.
Takže ako vidíte tabuľku čísla zabitých delfínov minulého roku a vlastne predošlých rokov. Ako vidíte v tej tabuľke sa tie čísla potom ako keby zlepšujú, čiže sa zmenšuje počet zabitých delfínov a tých veľrýb.
So they call it the Grindadra. It basically means whale murder. Grind can mean whale. It also means hunt. It's what they call their culture and their tradition.
Takže vlastne celá tá ich loviaca stratégia sa volá Grindadra, znamená to doslova vražda veľrýb, pretože grind je vlastne veľryba a ten zvyšok je vražda. A je to vlastne ich tradícia a vyznačujú sa tým v ich kultúre.
Okay, so here is a slide telling you the history of the Sea Shepherd campaigns. There have been a number of campaigns in previous years, but last year's was the biggest campaign. There were, I think, 6 boats altogether with teams of people operating the boats and maintaining the boats. And there were about 500 onshore volunteers, people like me, who just volunteered to go, no particular skills, we were just willing to go and do whatever was needed.
Takže ako vidíte, Sea Shepherd je na Faerských ostrovoch pomerne už dosť dlho. Posledný rok tam bolo okolo 250 dobrovoľníkov na súši a okolo 6 lodí Sea Shepherd.
Our goal was to stop the whale murders taking place. So we were there to spot whales and dolphins. They travel in groups called pods. To spot them before a whale hunt or a grind was called. We were going to alert the boat teams to come and try and push the dolphins back out to sea, and if it came to it, to get in the water to defend the whales or the dolphins.
Takže čo bolo cieľom vlastne dobrovoľníkov je, že sa snažili pozorovať tieto skupiny delfínov a veľrýb a snažili sa upozorniť svojich kolegov a dobrovoľníkov predtým, ako sa vôbec ten lov začal. takže aby mohli vlastne tie lode vyplávať včas a snažiť sa tie delfíny, čiže aj veľryby, zahnať naspäť na široké more.
So my story, I had never been on a campaign of any sort before. I completed the application form late in 2013 and I had to wait quite a long time. On 30th of March I was accepted onto the campaign, so I had some time to get ready. I went to the Faroe Islands on the 30th of June and I left on the 14th of July, so I spent just over 2 weeks on the campaign.
Eadaoin sa stala dobrovoľníkom Sea Shepherd kúsok predtým, ako prišla na Slovensko a vlastne zo Slovenska potom im podala aplikáciu na Faerské ostrovy v neskôršie v 2013. Čakala dlhšiu dobu, až sa jej ozvali okolo marca, kde ju prijali teda na Faerské ostrovy, kde potom odišla v júni na 2 týždne pomáhať.
So our daily routine was to patrol around the islands in our area. I was in the northern islands and we had 6 beaches to check, and the job was to drive round in one of our cars. Some of them had the Sea Shepherd logo, some of them didn't. We were supposed to check the beaches and the vantage points, which are high areas that you can see out to sea from, and make sure there were no dolphins or whales being hunted, and then to maintain a visible presence in the area, to show people that Sea Shepherd were there and that we were ready for action if there was any action to be taken.
Takže v podstate taký denný program bol hlavne robiť hliadky na plážach, kde sa Eadaoin nachádzala. To bolo severnejšie ostrovy, pretože tie Faerské ostrovy sú viaceré, tak ona bola viac menej na severe. Mali 6 pláží, na ktorých hliadkovali každý deň niekoľko hodín a vlastne boli aj takou súčasťou v tých dedinkách, kde sa pohybovali pomocou Sea Shepherd Out a hlavne dávali na vedomie miestnym, že oni to tam strážia a že vlastne sú tam ako pomoc pre tie delfíny.
This is one of the killing beaches that was in our area. It's called Viaglafjordur. The small beach area on that far side of the picture is where the whales are pushed in to be killed. It's a very small area. They try and get the whales from the big open sea and they push them into a kind of tunnel towards the beach, closing in around them so that it's easier for people to catch them and kill them.
Toto je jedna z tých najznámejších zabíjajúcich, alebo teda pláží, kde sa zabíjalo. Je veľmi malá, vidíte tam v rohu toho obrázka. Vlastne dôvod je celkom zámer, je nahnať tie veľryby presne do takéhoto malého priestoru, kde bude veľmi jednoduché to množstvo zabiť.
And then we had some vantage points, sometimes with nice rocks that we could stand on to look out to sea and see if there were any dolphins or pilot whales. The idea at that point is to see them coming into the fjords and try and get the boat teams to head them off before they have a chance to come too far in and get spotted by the Faroese.
Ďalej teda ďalšie pozorovacie body boli takéto vysoké body, z ktorých bolo veľmi dobrý výhľad na tú vodu a vlastne ste mohli skoro spozorovať toho delfína alebo tú veľrybu alebo celý ten zhluk a vlastne upozorniť kolegov, dobrovoľníkov, čím by ste vlastne im pomohli, že sa nedostanú tak skoro vlastne k tomu pobrežiu a vy môžete rýchlo zasiahnuť, aby sa teda ten lov nekonal.
So Friday the 11th of July gave us some anxiety. We were driving away from our team house in Klaksvik and we saw the police going somewhere at about 60 miles an hour. In the Faroes there's not a lot of crime. We didn't think it was usual for the police to be travelling that fast. But we went on our way down to Viaglafjordur and we found a Danish Navy boat and a Faroese police boat were having some kind of training exercise.
Takže o piatok 11. júla sa dialo niečo zaujímavé, keď hliadkovali v autách okolo dedinky a blížili sa k plážam. Videli, teda spozorovali takéto námorné člny a vlastne dánske námorníctvo, ktoré prišlo spolupracovať s faerskou políciou a vlastne ako keby taký tréning s cieľom, ako zabrániť Sea Shepherd dobrovoľníkom v ich záchrane delfínov.
And then we saw the Grindmaster. This is a local man. He's appointed the head of the hunt. Without him saying so, no hunt can take place. So we got a bit worried when we saw him down at the harbour.
Toto je pán, ktorý je vlastne šéf celej operácie toho lovu. Keď je na mieste, teda v prístave a Sea Shepherd ho zbadali a v momente vedeli, že sa niečo možno bude diať, takže vedeli, že majú upozorniť svojich kolegov.
And then our Sea Shepherd boat arrived because we had phoned them and said, we don't know what's happening, but you better get over here because we thought there might be a hunt. And they joined in the fun. They chased the police boat and the police boat chased them for a little while.
Takže vlastne keď zbadali toho šéfa, zavolali kolegom a lode Sea Shepherd vyplávali teda na more a vlastne bola tam taká mierna naháňačka policajnej lode a Sea Shepherd lode, takže sa trošku zapojili do akcie.
It was okay once we realised there wasn't actually going to be a hunt. We thought it was quite funny. The best bit was looking at the faces of the police and the Navy and the Grindmaster as they were looking at us and thinking, how the hell did Sea Shepherd know where we're going to be today? It was just pure luck that we happened to be in the same place, but I don't think they knew that.
Takže vlastne táto akcia bola celkom náhodná. Vlastne dánska polícia aj s námorníctvom sa celkom prekvapili, že sú tam Sea Shepherd na mieste, či už vo vode alebo na suši. Snažili sa robiť aj takú miernu barikádu z aut. Vlastne boli aj veľmi prekvapení a tak rozmýšľali nad tým, že ako sa sakra dozvedel si.
And then the police came over and they wanted to talk to our team leader Matt, and they said, you know, is everything okay? And we said, of course everything's okay, no whales are being killed today.
A vlastne zastavila sa pri nich policajná hliadka pri šéfovi Sea Shepherd a opýtali sa ho paradoxne, že či je všetko v poriadku. A teda akože Matt, ten chlapík povedal, že jasné, veď žiadne delfíny ani veľryby neboli zabité dnes.
Afterwards we had a meeting with the boat crew and we exchanged all of the information that we had. It was very helpful of the police and the Navy to have that training exercise because we got lots of information about how they would deal with Sea Shepherd if a hunt was called.
Potom sa vlastne zgrupili s ostatnými kolegami zo Sea Shepherd, aby si podelili sa o informácie, pretože vidieť takto dánske námorníctvo a políciu spolu mohli odpozorovať vlastne, čo by sa mohlo diať, keby teda naozaj išlo do nejakého lovu napríklad, takže si vymenali informácie s ostatnými posádkami.
For most of the summer there was no hunting. They just didn't have the opportunity. There weren't enough pilot whales or dolphins around to make it worthwhile. But on the 1st of August, there was a day when it looked like a hunt might happen. A pod of pilot whales, up in the top picture, were spotted in one of the areas that we were looking at. It was a wet, windy, very rainy day. The Sea Shepherd boat crew were out, making sure that the whales went back out to sea. The Faroese threatened to sue Sea Shepherd for disrupting a hunt, but they failed to realise that they were all too scared to go out in their boats that day, so they couldn't have had a hunt anyway.
Takže do konca júla sa vlastne moc toho nedialo, všetko bolo v pohode a všade bol kľud, až teda 1. augusta spozorovali na vode delfíny a Sea Shepherd okamžite vyrazil do akcie, keď boli strašné podmienky, čiže bol strašný vietor a voda bola veľmi divoká. No a vlastne Dáni, teda Faersky, sa ako keby obávali ísť vôbec na tú vodu, pretože vedeli, že nemajú na to dostatočné vybavenie, alebo sa báli proste ísť na vodu, takže Sea Shepherdu sa podarilo tých delfínov, tie veľryby dostať bezpečne zase na širokú vodu.
But unfortunately, the good luck couldn't last forever, and about 3 weeks later, 5 bottlenose dolphins, they actually stranded on one of the islands, and they were slaughtered by the locals. They broke the law because under Faroese law, you're not allowed to kill an animal that strands itself. You're supposed to try and get it back out to sea first. But they must have been quite frustrated at the lack of opportunities to hunt because they just went ahead and slaughtered them. In the Faroes, the meat from any killed whales or dolphins is divided among the community, and we found evidence afterwards that some of the meat that had been divided up was dumped over a cliff into the sea.
Takže šťastie netrvalo dlho. Na konci augusta sa predsa podarilo nejaké delfíny zabiť. Išlo skôr o vyplavenie týchto rýb až priamo k pláži. Čiže 5 delfínov bolo na pláži zabitých. V podstate nebolo žiadny skutok zo strany faerských obyvateľov o záchranu, žiadny pokus o záchranu týchto delfínov. V podstate porušili kvázi aj ich zákony, pretože oni vlastne sa musia pokúsiť tie delfíny vrátiť späť do vody, zachrániť ich. No a po zabití týchto delfínov vlastne to mäso je väčšinou rozdelené medzi tú komunitu, ktorá sa podieľa na tom love alebo na tom zabíjaní.
Sorry, can you go back again? Okay, one of the reasons that the meat is dumped over the cliff is that some of the people in the Faroes don't agree anymore with the whale and the dolphin hunting. But because, as I mentioned earlier, the Faroes is a very conservative society, end up in protest against the whale hunting or to be activists against the whale hunting. So they do the only thing they can do, and they dispose of the meat without eating it.
Takže ako vidíte, oni vlastne to mäso nielenže rozdelia, ale vlastne väčšina z tých obyvateľov to mäso vlastne nechce jesť. Oni to mäso na konci hodia naspäť do mora. A v podstate je otázka, že prečo sa teda vlastne tie delfíny aj zabíjajú a prečo sa rozdeľuje to mäso, keď to nikto nie je a tí miestni sa ani nebúria vlastne kvôli tomu zabíjaniu. Keď to mäso zahadzujú na konci, je kvôli tomu, že to je veľká tradícia a oni sa obávajú toho, že by bolo, keby vôbec nejak dali podnet na to, že by tú tradíciu nejak zmenili alebo pozastavili.
And then on the 30th of August, just 2 days later, the Faroese finally got what they wanted. They managed to kill 33 pilot whales. Some of the Sea Shepherd crew went into the sea and they tried to physically get between the killers and the whales, but 6 or 7 Sea Shepherds against 50-60 Faroese isn't much of a match. They were dragged out of the water by the police. They were arrested along with some of the boat crew, and 3 of the boats were seized by the police.
Takže 30. augusta teda došlo k veľkému zabíjaniu. 33 delfínov, teda tých veľryb, bolo zabitých miestnymi. Čo sa stalo je, že Sea Shepherd teda vlastnými telami sa snažili zabrániť tomuto lovu a tomuto zabíjaniu, išli do vody. Na nešťastí proste odtiaľ polícia povyťahovala zatkli niekoľkých, myslím, že 7 členov zatkli, zabavili 3 lode a vlastne odviedli ich proste preč do väzenia a podobne.
The Sea Shepherd volunteers were released a couple of days later. They were greeted by everybody else who was on the campaign and had been in the campaign as heroes. They are heroes because they actually put their lives on the line to try and defend the whales, which is what we were all prepared to do when we went on the Sea Shepherd campaign. Unfortunately, the whales are dead. There's no replacing them. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Niekoľko dní po tomto love vlastne dobrovoľníkov Sea Shepherd pustili na slobodu, vrátili sa k svojim tímom a v podstate všade boli považovaní potom za hrdinov, lebo sa snažili vlastnými telami zabrániť zabitiu delfínov. bohužiaľ tie delfíny sú teraz mŕtve a už ich nič nevráti do tej vody.
So if you want to learn more, even though the GrindStop campaign is over now, the website is still live. You can go to that web address. If you want the web address, contact me and I will send it to you. The Sea Shepherd main website is also at the link on the...
Okay, basic... I was going to try in English. Takže po slovensky. Na tej stránke predtým boli web stránky Sea Shepherd ohľadom GrindStopu kampane a potom aj generálna stránka Sea Shepherd organizácie, kde sa dozviete najviac tých informácií o všetkých kampaniach aj ako sa stať dobrovoľníkom. Eadaoin a ja sa pokúšame teda začať skupinu teda na Slovensku. Musíme byť pod záštitou rákujskej skupiny, ktorá nám pomáha. Ak by ste mali záujem sa stať dobrovoľníkom, určite na seba nechajte kontakt buď po tomto, alebo môžete e-mailnúť Eadaoin. V podstate je veľa kampaní momentálne rozbehnutých od zachraňovania a zachraňovania korytnačiek v Kostarike až po každoročnú kampaň v Tajči záchrana delfínov.
So we'll be here for about another 30 minutes after I'm finished. Please come and talk to me if you want to be a Sea Shepherd.
Takže ďakujem veľmi pekne za pozornosť.